Reverse engineering is the methodology for acquiring architectural information about anything originally created by someone else. Reverse engineering has been around since long before computers or modern technology. So nowadays, reverse engineering is not only used to steal or counterfeit technology and reverse cryptographic algorithms, but it's also used to perform malware analysis and cybersecurity forensics by the good guys as well, right? So reverse engineering can even be useful to software developers to discover how to interoperate with undocumented or partially documented software, or even to develop competent software, right? So, which in some cases actually may be illegal, right? So the use of reverse engineering to actually steal somebody else's intellectual property is definitely illegal. Reverse engineering can be used for exploit development to locate vulnerabilities in a system and then compromise such system. But it's also used to reverse engineer malware, right? To see how malware actually is behaving, right? So security researchers and forensics experts can actually trace every step the malware takes and assess the damage that actually it could cause, right? The expected rate of infection as well is another thing that they actually measure, and how it could be removed from the infected systems, right? Reverse engineering also help on finding out how to potentially proactively defend against such malware and such threats, right? So malware analysis extend to identifying that the malware is present on a given system and studying the malware to understand how it functions. Doing that can reveal the purpose of the malware and even the author of the malware in some cases, right? So because in some scenarios you can determine if a specific technique is actually being used, whether it's actually an amateur or perhaps a more sophisticated developer, and in some cases folks with a lot of resources, like in the case of fairly large crime organizations and also nation states, right? So there are two additional uses for reverse engineering, right? One is to reverse cryptographic algorithms, and that's actually used to decrypt data. And the second one is to reverse DRM, right, or digital rights management solutions. And that's where the threat actors use DRM reverse engineering techniques to steal things like music, movies, books, and any other contents actually protected by DRM solutions. Now, there are many tools available to perform reverse engineering, right? So I'm including a few here. The first example is system monitoring tools, which are tools that actually sniff, monitor, explore, and otherwise actually expose the program being reversed, right? The next ones are actually disassemblers, right? So these are tools that take a program's executable binary as input and then generate textual files that contain the assembly language code for the entire programs or parts of the program, right? So then we also have debuggers, right? And debuggers allow reverse engineers to observe the program while it's actually running, right? And they're actually able to set what we call breakpoints, and then that allows them to have the ability to trace throughout the code to actually use these debuggers to step through the disassembled code and watch the system as it runs as it runs actually the program, one instruction at a time, right? And then we also have decompilers, right? So programs actually that take an executable binary file and then attempts to produce readable high-level language code from those executables.